I would say the last 30, certainly the last 20, and definitely the last 15 years. And there is a very considered approach that is now being taken to the development of coaches. And what we're looking to do, and I say we, that is a collective we, and there is an international body led by the International Council for Coaching Education who are driving forward some thinking around sports coaching development. And the philosophy we're taking is that actually we can grow coaches by design and not by accident. So rather than people just migrating into and just becoming a coach because, no, it will take quite a formal, quite a strategic approach to education. There are some countries that are really quite progressive in terms of what they have done and how they've done it, and they are what we call the trailblazers. And there's loads of learning that we can take from them to help us in our work and in our thinking. Now, we have got this resource for you. We're deliberately hanging on to it, and we'll give it to you at the end. But our goal today is just to start thinking about bringing this to life, to give you a better understanding of what it means and what it might mean for you, but actually start you thinking about what you can do to develop coaches. Even if you are not, so even if your project is not around coach development per se, there is still an awful lot you can do, even informally, to grow coaches. So that's where we're spending some time today. I know you've got a copy of the PowerPoints. They've changed a little bit, needless to say. What we will do is to make sure that it's available for you on whatever pen drive or email stuff that we can give you. I'm just going to share the outcomes with you and the focus for the session. And I'll just let you have a look at those. That's where we're heading. So we're going to have a look at a recognised definition of coaching. We're going to have a bit of a think about what we can do to develop coaches. We'll then think about, because once you get to know Barbara and I, just good coaching isn't acceptable. We're looking for great coaching, we're looking for excellent coaching, and our bar is always set really quite high, and we won't apologise for that. So it's what we can do, and then we're going to spend some time looking at what we can do to develop excellent coaches and excellent coaching. And what we can do today is to provide just a snapshot for you, and we will promise to signpost you to resources, answer any questions, and we are around for 3 or 4 days. I'm more than happy to chat about any aspect of this. For those people whose project is around coach education, it might well be worth us finding another hour together so we can dive into some of the real detail. So for those people who walked into the middle when Barbara had asked, is your project around coach ed, we might just have to think about when we can find that hour. Okay, so we could ask you what you think coaching is, but the International Council for Coach Education have convened a group of experts, and it has taken them years and probably hundreds of debates to get to this definition. I'm just going to share the definition with you. Can you read that? 18 very well chosen words.
Say that loud.
Yep. Coaching is the guided improvement of sports participants in a single sport at identifiable stages of participant development. So it's taken this group of people about 14 years and some very deliberate thinking to pick these 18 words. What we want you to do in your groups is just review that definition, and what I want you guys to do is highlight the key words. And I want you to, in your groups, identify what's the key word in the statement. Key word or words? Key word or words. There will be more than one. So just debate in your group, which are the key words and why? Which
okay, flip it around, guys. Yeah, I think guided improvement is good. And let's start a new memo. Apparently I wrote fused improvement. Guided improvement. Guided improvement of sports participants. I think if we went with guided improvement and identifiable stages of participant development, we've used about half the sentence, but it's a very economic sentence to start with. Identifiable stages. Why?
Because you need to guide somebody in order to get to a particular level. If they do it on their own, there's a good chance that they can rise, but they won't. So the coach brings it to the next level.
Guided improvement. Well, is the issue that it's a single sport significant as well?
Yeah, but then you have to improve, no matter if it's a single sport or it's a dual sport.
No, a single sport as in one sport, as in the coach is specific to a sport, not as in to...
Okay, but the statement I just made, you as a fencer can train on your own if you've never been trained before, and you can go into a tournament, correct?
Yeah.
How far will you get in that tournament?
Yeah, well, so that's where the guided improvement comes into. So we've got guided improvement, and we've got identifiable stages of participant development. So it's guided improvement appropriate to the stages. But, I mean, we're talking about coaching here. Should we nail down that it's specific to sport? Or, I mean, coaching is not specific to sport, really. Coaching can be all sorts of things. So, I think in our context it certainly is. But I think those two statements, guided improvement and identifiable stages of development, probably do it for us.
When you want to use a statement and not just group words together.
Well, that's words directly out of the sentence. I mean, they're words directly. Guided improvement is right over there. Guided improvement, identifiable stages of development. I just can't bother.
So you could just leave out stages.
Yeah, but that narrows down that it's specific to that LTAD kind of concept, is that it's stages.
And that's a really good thing. And we've given you the definition, and you can sit here and debate it till early evening. They have to, I can't begin to tell you how much debate has gone into this definition. So looking at the statement, what's the first word that jumps out at you that makes you think it's fairly key? Well, we'll start here and then we'll come round, so I can promise you there's enough words. Okay, coaching is the guided. Guided. What do we mean by guided? What was in your heads?
Make the plan.
Yeah.
Are you saying this is not an accident?
It isn't an accident. So what do we mean when we think about the word guided? So if you think about an old style coach of years gone by, what would you have typically seen them doing?
In my country, all coaches, they are successful, but they don't know how.
Okay, so there's some really good intent, but guided for me is something around a direction. So a coach is really good at determining.
Like the fundamental that a kid can improve.
but the question is improve in the right way. And if they lack the fundamentals, they may get to a certain point and they can't get better.
Yeah.
So you have to be guided improvement.
Yeah. And if we think specifically about the role of the coach is not just instructing or telling or demanding, the coach is doing much more. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
When I think of guiding, I think of a chauffeur.
Think of a chauffeur.
Taking you destination one along a path. We left it this morning to go to the fitness center for conditioning. I don't think anyone knew where we were going. Therefore, we went along a certain path to meet a certain destination.
Yeah.
The coach is guiding his athlete to an improvement path, and it goes through different stages until you meet bang, the final destination. That's how we think of guiding.
Okay. Yeah, I'll buy that.
I agree with you, but then I want to say he guided his athletes not only in sport, not only in life. I think this is important. Not only because if you care more young, you must teach them life, not only about sport. So it's like, I don't know how to explain.
To be good person in the society also.
Yeah.
To be a good person for society, to be quality person.
You're explaining it very well. No, you are. Yeah. And again, there is an awful lot of work being done now that explores what else a coach needs to be responsible for developing alongside the physical performance. And there is something here around the personal, the social, the cultural. It's about coaching the whole child or the whole person. You're absolutely right. And the coach's job, they have a responsibility to identify the end point of that journey, which is often negotiated. It's often rethought along the way. Go back to the chauffeuring analogy. I sometimes have to take a different route. And the guided for me is the selection of coaching tools and strategies I choose to use to help you get better, to help you improve. Okay, we've had a bit of debate. If I hop to that group there, what was the next word along that you focused on?
It wasn't a word. The next point for us was the identifiable stages.
Okay. Go on a little bit more. Identifiable stages. What does that mean, and what does that mean?
Well, we're looking at it in terms of guidance. Or we had guidance and then identifiable stages. We were looking at in the framework of long-term athlete development, going through making sure that the athletes are participating in the right stage for their age and appropriate to their level of skill.
Yeah. Yep. Let's follow on that.
Yeah, I think we've been hearing long-term athlete development quite a
Hold on a
lot,
second, fellas.
and I think we should separate what is just coaching, what is long-term athlete development, and what is talent identification.
But this is I'm not saying coaching is long-term athlete development, but it's about coaching to the right stage. Like if I'm coaching children, I don't want to be coaching them to be champions. I want to be teaching them how to play and have fun in the sport.
Yeah.
So
And I think what the long-term athlete development thinking gives us, it's a framework, it's a foundation, it's a backbone against which we can map where our athletes are and identify where they can go. It is literally a framework.
That's what I'm saying. It's like coaching, LTAD is part of a coaching process.
Yeah.
It's not, so we have to think from different approaches, right?
It could also be the stage in which you develop different abilities, you know. Where the different stages, you could also, within the same training of the kid, each time we do strength or we do flexibility, so it could be the different stages of motor abilities.
Yeah. And there is a massive amount of research out there that guides our thinking, our planning and our delivery around what we do with our athletes at certain stages. But you're right, I think we have a responsibility to recognise where people are at in their career, whether they are young and aspiring athletes or whether they're old and not quite so aspiring but still want to play and still want to be part.
I think our group was seeing it slightly different. We didn't put the two words together. We saw stages separately, and identifiably you ask yourself, what are we identifying as a coach? And when you put them together, you get in a different coaching message.
Yeah,
I think stages in coaching is separated from identify, or what are the coach trying to
So
identify?
what are the tools that the coach can use to identify the stage that an athlete is at? I think there's a subtle difference there. It's not just about taking a player and then pigeonholing them in one area of the LTAD framework. It's about using your series of diagnostic tools to identify specifically.
So is that where you were headed, Lisa?
Yeah, probably,
So
yeah, it's that, yeah. Like, just not, probably most of us are kind of confused and a lot of stuff going on with LTAD.
Yes.
Because we're having like LTAD breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's, so this is coaching. I mean, for LTAD program, you need coaches for fundamentals,
Yes.
and you need coaches for training to compete. So we have to think of the whole picture when we're talking about coaching.
You're looking at it from an organisational point where you've got a framework of bodies that you can slot into the difference. From a small sport point of view, I've got to coach every level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about coaching in sport.
Yeah.
Coaching as
Fellas,
human resources.
I'm
Coaching
gonna hold
IT.
you up. I'm going to hold you up because we could spend here all day. We could spend the next 14 years, a bit like the ICC Council, but we won't. What I'm going to do is to ask this group, these two groups who haven't yet contributed, what do we think of the word single sport?
There's a lot of element in this, but we discussed and we found out that the participant is most important now in this case because the coach is dependent on this participant. So the most important point for coaching now, as a coach, we have to think about the participant.
Yeah. Yes. And even if you are working with a team who are playing the same sport, each different position will have subtle demands that distinguishes it from another position on the field or on the court. And actually, we have to tailor what we do relative to the demands of that position, that sport, that. There's no right or wrong answer here, but this is the accepted definition. Coaching, not an easy job, is it? If you look at what you are expected to do.
Why did you single out single sport? Why can't it be a team sport? You're going specifically after per individual of a team sport.
No, they don't mean single sport as in identified as one sport.
The single sport or the athlete, it's around the personalised coaching element, that ability to tailor the coaching to meet each individual's needs. But if we think about this, it is quite a complex job. If you are going to do this phenomenally well, I'm so sorry I'm in your way. If you're going to do this phenomenally well, if you are going to model excellent coaching, it's a big ask, isn't it? So what I do want us to think about is, if that's what we are expecting our coaches to do, what on earth is it that needs to happen to enable coaches to get to that point? So what I'm thinking about is, what are the systems, the processes, the education, the development that sits behind all of this to enable coaches to do that incredibly well? So we're going to move your thinking on a little bit. You. Yeah. Brilliant.
Just while we're turning around the slide, yes, which is what Sarah just said. What needs to be put in place to give coaches the very best chance to be the best possible coach? In order to explore this, we need a volunteer from each group.
And you need to come with me.
Who's going to go with Sarah to be instructed as to what their role is going to be. And it's ever so nice. You'll love it. Oh, Daniel, you'll love it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for volunteering.
Okay, so you're staying in your teams here.
Yeah, that'd be
What's going to
fun to watch
happen
too.
is, the people who are out there are going to be taking part in the World Hand Clapping competition. The World Hand Clapping. competition. There's no right, okay. So shortly, they're going to come in one at a time. There you go, World Hand Clapping Competition. They're going to come in one at a time in the performance space here, and they're going to perform for you in the World Hand Clapping Competition, one at a time. So each person, so each team is going to be represented. Now, your job in your group is to decide of all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of all the 6 performers, who's the best? Who is the best? And you can do that however you wish. So you need to keep, you might want to write some stuff down.
We've already
You're going
decided.
to need to keep a running record of who's the best, because they'll come in sequentially, they'll come in one at a time. No, you can't record it. We're not video analysing, it's just quite a snap judgment. But you might need to write some stuff down. Well done, you're in a position to see. So they'll come in one at a time, they might be a bit nervous. It's a big competition. There's a lot at stake. Okay? Are we ready? Oh, she can't get in. Yeah. Okay. Okay, first performer coming in. So you need to be able to see. Hang on.
Presenting.
We need to be able to see. We ready?
We're good.
Presenting early from so it's going to be 10 seconds, I'll count you in. Are you ready, sir? Mark, set, go. And stop.
Hey! Okay, come on. Just before we bring the second one in, you just might want to jot a few notes down because you'll lose track once we're at number 6. Okay, so we've got Erdley first.
I'm going to say,
So we get the idea.
my opinion was, it was definitely
It's only going to be 10 seconds.
say full body engagement.
Next one.
Engagement.
Okay, quick. You're
But
going to
not a lot of volume.
So just so we get a bit of an
That's what
idea.
I'd be looking for.
And presenting.
Hang on. So when Sarah will give you the countdown, you're going to have 10 seconds.
No sing, no sing.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well done, so okay, we need to make a little bit of adjustment.
I think Garda's same again. Entertaining. But not enough focus on the clap.
Okay, third one coming up.
False start. Penalty. Penalty. Yeah, that's
Okay, so how much 3 left. We're halfway. So
again,
how are we going so
same,
far?
very engaging,
We've got a leader
more
so
volume.
far. Oh!
I'll count you in when you
Come on, Martin, do it for the... Oh,
and done.
faster.
Just give me a second.
Oh, Eric 0.
Eric's ready. He's
No,
ready.
0 not necessary.
0 ready.
Eric said it and I'll give you
Hey!
Same as Robert.
Okay. All right, we've got 2 left. So last 2. Oh, 1 left. Last 1. Oh, it's the biggie. Last 1. Your team. Okay. Marks. Get set. Go. Okay. I'm going to give you just a minute or so in your group now, just to sort out who you think it was the winner. So we'll just see who you think is the winner of the World Hand Clapping competition.
So you are the champion?
I was looking for someone to be really loud.
Second try, you laugh and see how it feels.
I can do it. I have no brain. When you've got no nervous sensation, you can do a lot of stupid things. I'm leaning towards Mark. Grumple's
Who
good.
was our first performer early? Yeah? So let's just, no, you find everything, sit down, we don't always do it again.
Don't come anymore.
Okay, I'm going around this group first. Who have you got as your winner? Who have you got as the winning hand clapper? Number 1, Erdley. Got him as the winner. Right, so Sarah, I've got Erdley at 1, okay? And this group, who did you have as the winner?
I'm going to go with
You had your own teammate as the winner. So I'm just saying there could be an inquiry going on here.
He is the best.
Ah, right, okay, and your winner?
Martin.
Martin was the winner. Vote for Martin, hey! Well done over there. And your winner?
Daniel.
Daniel, their own teammate.
Ah!
Okay, and your winner? And your winner? Garda. Okay, another one for Garda. So we've got 2-2. Garda and Erdley. We might have to have a clap off. What do you think?
Hola!
Okay.
Make your one more competition.
Okay. Now, so we've come to a conclusion about who we think, who each group thinks is our winning hand clapper. We're at a tie at the minute. Later on in the day, we might just work out that we'll have a split the tie. Otherwise, we've got to have 2 prizes. We have to share the World Hand Clapping prize. It's quite an honour, isn't it, to be the World Hand Clapping champion. Quite interesting that some teams voted for their own team.
I think it was mine.
Hang
on, no, that's mine.
Fairness. However, let's just have a think about it. Just share with us what were any of the reasons. What were you judging on? So I'm going to have over here. I just can't see your name. Roger. It is Nahi. So Nahi's going to just start us off. What kinds of things were you looking at? Oh, I've got a whole spreadsheet there. It looks like.
Style, loudness,
So he's looking at the first
style,
style,
loudness,
loudness,
artistic performance,
artistic performance,
sound radiation.
sound radiation. Sound variation. On that basis, Garda was your winner. So you had a set. You came up with a bit of criteria.
Yes.
Anything else that anybody else was judging on?
Rhythm.
Rhythm. A bit of rhythm going on there. Yeah.
I think she had good involvement. She walked around and she really got the people.
Okay, so for Carolina, the fact that Garda seems to be quite skilled at involving everybody doing a lot of things. It apparently seems. I don't know what that is, but yes. Sorry, body language came in too. All right. What else? Anything else that anybody was judging on?
Execution.
Execution. Oh, that sounds a bit fatal, but
Execution, rhythm, and skill.
execute business. Look at that. Execution. What did execution mean for
Like
you?
if he got it or he missed a clap or what.
Okay, so we're into getting a bit of a technical model here going on there. So did it clap properly? Was there a clap every time?
You said hand clapping. You
Was-
didn't say use your feet or use your
Right.
your
Absolutely
sound.
right. Yeah?
Say hand clapping.
So you were judging just on the hand clapping, and on that basis, Daniel, and it's entirely coincidentally from your team.